What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And in today's video, we're going to be going over the overall state of the market with another market update, which we've been scary how accurate we've been. The times, how many times we called the bottoms, the right tops. Too many times. It's been a little scary. It feels like maybe I'm from the future. I'm the guiding light through these moments of darkness. Retail investors have had months and months of darkness, and this channel has been the shining light, the guide to how to maneuver around this pretty much correction, market crash, bear market, whatever you want to call it. It's your host, it's me, Antonio, the guide. And we're gonna keep being correct week after week. So make sure you tune into this type of videos. Make sure you subscribe down below. If you want more about the stock market, crypto market is the best channel to do so. If you want to trade with me live every single day, the links will be down below. And let's get straight into the chart. This is the S&P 500 chart. We saw a strong breakout. First, where would we call the bottom? We call the bottom on this day. This day, the 12th of May, which we was pretty much nailed the bottom. If you're in the group chat, in the Discord group chat, you see that I finally said I'm taking long-term, longer position on this right here, 385, 386. We did make a little bit of a lower low right there. That was intraday, but we actually closed even higher than that day was. So perfect timing on the bottom. And that week, the weekly market update on that week, I told you guys I was buying the bottom. After telling you guys this was the top up here, after telling you guys this was the bottom before a counter trend rally, for telling you guys I sold all my long-term positions all the way up here. It's been so many times that we've been corrected, so many times, and now we finally, yet again, be corrected. And I challenge you to find somebody that's been as correct as I've been through this whole, pretty much since the beginning of the year. So what do we see in the market? We currently see a strong breakout. We had best week on a weekly time frame. Go to the weekly time frame. One of the best weeks since March or the 2020. So about 2 years now, we had a strong week. If you zoom out on the weekly chart, you see here a strong breakout. Pretty much we had a little bit of a falling wedge here, falling wedge pattern since the beginning of the year, which we had talked about multiple times. We finally seen this breakout, and we are approaching levels of resistance. I would love to see something like this potentially before we do get a breakout. So I would love for this push to continue. And of course, we're in the weekly time frame, so each day we're not gonna just keep going up. I would love to see us push up to maybe test this 440 area, then eventually come down again to this 415 and have it a little bit of an inverse head and shoulder pattern. I think that would be set us up nicely to finally break this downtrending resistance here. It's been since the beginning of the year, and pretty much the major resistance that we will really need to break above if we do want to test this all-time highs level. Of course, our target is around this 500 area. We do believe we're in a topping process. We don't think that we're tackling a bear market yet, but we do think a bear market is going to be coming in September. The Fed's plan to reduce their balance sheets very aggressively. I believe we're going to see a summer rally. We're going to see a 3 to 4 months rally where we're going to be proven correct of potential this inverse head and shoulder, however it plays out, and a new fake all-time high, maybe just to test the 500 level right below, a little bit right above, around that area, and then eventually lead us into a longer term bear market. And I think that balance sheet will be the key factor that will be happening in September. Our target is around this 500 area here, a potential new fake breakout above this all-time higher area to trap all the long investors and eventually lead us into a longer term bear market. As long as we're technically didn't hit a bear market, I know we technically went below 20% here for about 30 minutes and then we quickly recovered, but we have not gotten the bear market. And like what everybody's been saying, we're in a bear market, we're not in a bear market. I've been of the opinion we're not in a bear market, and I do think this is a correction leading us into a topping process of this long, if we go to zoom out on this longer 10-year, now it's what, 12, 14 years maybe bull run since 2010 here. This huge monster rally here, and I do think that we're in a topping process of this huge rally, and eventually we'll later this year, Q3, potentially Q4, see the longer term bear market that I've been talking about rather than this correction down here. It's personally my personal opinion on it. Another thing that's really interesting, if we go over here to our FinViz, we see that consumer cynical today strong. The whole week relative performance have been strong behind and right behind technology. So it's interesting because if we go to see our consumer staples like our Walmarts, which have reported really bad earnings, that's why they had this huge drop here. I've actually been recovering really, really well, and you know their guidance was negative, but it seems like investors are getting past the guidance, and they do think that harder times are behind us. Now, would that be correct? I don't know. We'll see. But that's what has been leading charge on this past week's rally. Go to Target. Target. What's really interesting here that we got to this gap here, this massive gap of the earnings, and we've actually rejected at the bottom of the gap. We didn't, if you get in the gap, then you're more likely going to fill it. But remember, it's before you get in the gap, there's always going to be resistance, and we currently have been rejected off of it. So here we like to see either potentially making lower lows and going lower, or we could see higher low and then breaking through and potentially filling this gap. If we take a look at attack, which also has been strong, we saw they broke out this downtrend here that's been after breaking out this little bit of a wedge here, broke right above it, and now it's been broken above it. Now I would like to see this gap here, a little bit of a gap it has there to be filled, bounce, and we have a little bit of a cooling off, and then bounces and then keeps going higher. We'll see how we interact on these AMAs. All the AMAs are negative, which means the momentum is negative. So we have to see once we get to those important moving averages, are we going to be reacting to it next? If we go to the IWM is we've been getting this spot on. Pretty much IWM is super. If you're a beginner trader, I recommend focusing on the IWM just because it respects its supply and demand zones so nicely. And we see that we had this gap that we had talked about. We actually bounced the gap, very similar to Target, which got rejected. Here, at the top of the gap, we didn't get in, we didn't fill it, bounced right above it, which is not uncommon. And now it's pushing up, and we're into this next supply zone right at the top. We'll be able to get in and break above it. We'll still see. More than likely, we might see a pullback here before moving higher. And I would love to see a pullback, when things just rocket up, like we saw SPY earlier in the year, just rocketing up quickly, and end up crashing down. If you have a steady push high, healthy push high, uh, makes it more likely for the upward trend to continue. There's a really interesting thing. We see DXY here. We predicted that this was a fake breakout, and a lot of times you see these fake breakouts to trap the bulls, and actually it's coming down. The dollar, when the dollar does well, equities don't do well. When the dollar does bad, equities usually tend to like that. So we saw this fake breakout up here. We actually came down, and now we found support on the 50 MA. I do expect this to make a lower high and then continue its push down to around this 99 area at the very least, and then we'll see from there. It was really interesting day that we had this fake breakout. If we go to the SPY, we had a fake breakdown that day that we had a negative 20% correction. Was the day if we go down here, we saw this the fake breakout on the dollar. And what's interesting is when you see there's all these fake breakouts on the higher time frames, like daily time frames, you see that usually those are signs of a trend reversal. And we saw here this fake breakout where all the bulls got that were going to all-time highs. We broke about this double top here. We're like, okay, we're going to be going to all-time highs. Easy, we got right above it, but no, it was a fake breakout. Trapped the bulls, and the bears brought it back down. So a lot of times when you see those major false moves to either the up or the downside are usually signs that you're probably going to get a trend reversal. And yes, for now, what we'll be expecting for me is on the higher time frames make this strong daily inverse pattern potentially to then break to the top side. Again, guys, we've been correct many times. My prediction still stands still. I haven't really flip-flopped any of my predictions, and right now everything is going according to our plans. Whales, they're angry at me because I come out here every single week and put you guys up on game, I put you guys up on speed, I let you guys know where we're gonna be going next, and we've been extremely accurate. So they're angry at me. Make sure you drop a like to make more whales angry, and we keep sharing these videos. It helps out all the investors that don't get to see these videos. All our investors are getting stuck watching those big YouTube channels that are just there for the clickbait and for the YouTube ads money. We're a smaller channel, so I appreciate everybody's leaving a like, comment down below, subscribing, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.